But I remember thinking, if she doesn't give it back, I'm gonna beat her to death with this pipe. I just remember, and I can remember vaguely a couple people coming up the stairs past me. I can't tell you to this day who those people were. But I realized, and then after, which is typical of me, I'm the person that only gets scared after the fight, when the fight's over. Before the fight, I'm typically not scared, but when it's over, I'm shaking like a leaf, and you may have to put me to bed. I'm the one you want in an emergency, right? But I was terrified because I realized what she stole was a necklace. It was a custom necklace that belonged to my mother. And I thought my mother would be horrified that I spent the rest of my life in a Georgia prison for something she could have replaced. She would have been horrified. But I understood that anybody could become a murderer in an instant. All it takes is the perfect set of circumstances. Now we got some people who like to rob and like to do stuff, but it was never even then an intention to kill. It was just to rob this bar to pay the tab at the next bar, but that's another whole story. But thank you. I would like to ask you as well, what would help to make it a safe space for you?
I believe that what would make coming here and being a part of the sessions that you are offering and making it a safe space is that I get to show up as who I am, period. The reason being is because in so many different settings, as well as, especially if I was a long-term lifer and I had to go before a prison board or so, I had to show up a certain way, having to present myself to be maybe more perfect or more conformed than what I really actually, who I really am on my day-to-day basis. So what makes a safe space for me, even now, whether if it's where I'm working at, if it's where I'm worshiping at, is the fact that I get to come being me. So what would make this a safe space, in my opinion, is that it's not, even though you do have your guiding principles and your grounding rules, but that it's not so much about you, trying to get your participants or us to adhere to these certain sets of principles and rules, but that understanding that as I come through the door, that I'm coming as me and also allowing the trauma informed understanding that you have of the different types of circumstances and the different kinds of prisons. Because every prison is not the same. As you said, there's a difference between state and federal. There's a difference between level of yards. And there's also a difference between social statuses and social groups while in prison. Mm-hmm. So even though it's not to be assumed that everybody coming from a savage level 4 yard circumstances, even though I might be a level 4 yard inmate, I might, like you say, at any given moment, situations can find you incarcerated. And so I could have been a banker. I could have been a medical doctor. I could have been all of those things, and then just the right set of circumstances took me and allowed me to have this experience. So I think sometimes what I have noticed in certain other arenas is that there's this assumption of who you think is coming through the door and what you think I need and how you think I need to be groomed and how you think I need to be presented, as opposed to getting to know the participants and also having the gift and the ability to meet them case by case basis.
So powerful. So powerful. Because as the executive director of a nonprofit, Concerned Citizens of South Central Los Angeles, I worked for my mother as the project director for a long time first, building projects. In fact, the space that we sit in right now is this shopping center. It took me 25 years to build it. One of the reasons that we were successful is because my mother believed, as the first executive director, in asking the community what they wanted. asking the community what they needed, asking them what's going to actually help you, as opposed to assuming that you know. There are so many assumptions that people make, and that, to your point, they assume they know already. When if they ask, they may have the basis of it, but there's a tweak here or a tweak there, right? So, and that one thing can make the difference between somebody actually being helped and healed and moving forward and being stuck. It can make the difference to just asking me what I needed. So that is a very powerful thing, and being able to be who you are. The one thing I will say, that's a statement that the church makes: come as you are. And I say that's fine. The only problem is a lot of people come as they are to church and they stay the same. We ain't having that up in here. Not up in here. What you about to do is you about to make some changes. You're not gonna be able to hang out with us, cause people that know me know this is the 100 zone. We gonna tell the truth just like it is. We not trying to make it. No, we gonna have to tell the honest to God truth. Why? Because that's where the healing can take place. See, if I have you fighting the fire in the kitchen and it's really in the bedroom, the building's still gonna burn. So we need to be fighting the thing that's really at issue. What were the things that really caused us to have these challenges? What was that? As opposed to assuming this or assuming the other, let's really get to the root of it. Let's really talk about it. This is not a place that we have to be shy, because guess what? I'll use a line from The Road to Perdition, which was great. And the guy says to Tom Hanks, "It's nothing but murderers in this room." Ain't nothing. So whatever. Right? So your murders ain't no different than nobody else's. Right? You don't get no extra points. Ain't nobody scared of you. Ain't nobody worried about what you getting ready to do. Okay? Now, so the thing of it is that you can come here as you are, but we don't expect you to stay this way. We don't expect you to stay as you are right now. What we expect is that if you're coming here, what we would hope, because you know what, I want to change that word, because I don't expect anything from anybody. Now there's some things I'm not going to tolerate, because one thing I know about the prison population, people been in prison, they aggressive as all get out and need a firm hand sometimes. Why? Because self-preservation became a thing, a survival mechanism. Aggression, being aggressive and insisting that I get what I need, became a thing in prison as a way to survive. So I understand that. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be bullied in here. We're not going to be bullied. I'm not going to allow bullying. But at the same time, I want to make sure that we give people room to grow. But I will say this: I will not sit here and allow someone to lie to themselves. Don't lie to yourself. I had a lady tell me, "Oh, the only reason I'm in prison is because, my crime, and when he came and he borrowed that gun from me, he came so he could borrow the gun, and then, he should have told me that he was getting ready to go do this. He could have just dropped me off at home." I said, whoa. Let's stop right there. Because the truth of the matter is that if you are the person that they came to get the gun from,